Yeah, buddy, what is up? Welcome to Duct Tape Dynasty. I am indeed the Duct Tape Dude.
I'm the dude.
Man, I tell you what, sorry about that. Some technical difficulties. I made an absolute mad dash home from work today. Tried to get everything set up, got it all set up, got everything connected, phone calls, FaceTimes, all this stuff ready to go. And then technology humbled me. The internet didn't work, nothing. I mean, come on, man. Like, here it is. We said we were starting at 7. It's about 7:30. So nonetheless, we're on, and we're happy that you're on with us. So welcome. And hey, do us a favor before we get started. Minimize that screen, hit that subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, hit that like button. That's the stuff that gets this pushed out to the people. If you don't know what the heck we're doing here, we're doing a a Formula One fantasy podcast that is a little different from the typical Formula One fantasy. And I think hopefully folks will like it. I know we like it amongst ourselves. Anyway, yeah, let's just get to brass tacks, as they say. Let's get to business. You hear me say we, you only see me. Let's bring on today's guest host, none other than KC Kyle Cook. How are you, brother? Welcome.
Happy to be here. Let me tell you, insert that double kick drum into my veins.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Like that bumper music, like that's pretty solid. Which, by the way, you said we had technical difficulties. The first time I was going, it sounded like just old TV fuzz. Like I was like, "Oh, we're in trouble here." But now we got it.
Yeah, had to reset the computer, had to reset the internet. We had some weather here last night, and it did things to the internet and power and all these things. Anyway, geez, here we are. Hopefully, it's stable enough to keep us online for enough time to do this show. But dude, I am ultra glad that it is you that is here with me right now, because Formula One itself, I would not be a fan if it wasn't for you. So, yeah, you brought me into Formula One. So thank you.
So, yeah, I mean, it was Drive to Survive for me. Like, I was all about that. I got my wife into it. She was all about it. Like, I got my parents were into it. Like, both my mom and my dad both started having opinions about it. And then I was like, no, Josh is perfect. So I think he would love this. And I mean, sure enough, here we are. It's almost like 2 or 3 years since I told you about it. And I don't know, it was one of those things that, like, at the time I got so obsessed with them. Like, everybody needs to know about how great this sport is.
Yes, it's amazing. In fact, and in the comments, we have Faithletic, the podcast, is in the comments. That's what we were doing at the time. That is where we got our genesis of podcasting, was with none other than the host of Faithletic, the podcast, Dan, Coach. Welcome, by the way. We're glad you're here. I see my wife in there. She says, Cookie, hey, you're back. Wally's in there. Hey, what's up, Pops? Anyway, glad you guys are here with us. Yeah, this is none other than Kyle Cook, and he is the reason that I am an F1 obsessed person. So if you don't like it, blame this guy. By the way, Dan Faithletic is wondering, you didn't sign an NDA before you came out here on this show, so.
A non-compete clause.
That's why he's on. He hasn't signed it yet, Dan. So I had to hurry up and get him on before you realized it. Yeah, what's up? Anyway, all right, dude. So Formula One, we've had 2 races thus far. We've had 1 show, and now we're on show 2, race 3 about to come up. But let's talk about, now we had an off week because, Formula One travels all over the globe. They got to get the cars and all this stuff to these places. So every once in a while, they got to take a week off to get to where they're going. So although China and Japan aren't far apart.
I was like, why? But why can't we do this faster?
Yeah, I know.
Like, come on. Why? Give me. I need every week. Like,
I know. Well, we're about to go, I think, on a 3-week stretch here where we have Formula One every weekend, and I am all about it. And I'm actually working the late night shift, so hopefully I get to watch some of it live. Because it's in those places like Japan. Anyway, the last race was actually in China. So let me bring up the China graphic here. And every time I see this track, I see the same thing And I just want to ask you, what does this, like when we look at clouds and like, oh, that's a dog, that's a, whatever. What do you see when you look at the shape of this track?
Well, clearly to me, it's the Harry Potter sorting hat.
Okay.
It's very clear to me.
Okay. Well, for me, and maybe I'm a little more old school, or maybe it's because I'm not a Harry Potter guy. Nothing against it. I just haven't watched this stuff. I need to. But do you remember that song by Ski Low? I wish it was a baller. All that stuff.
Who doesn't know that song?
And in there he says, I wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat in a 6'4" Impala. That thing looks exactly like a rabbit in a hat with a bat. I mean, look at this. I'm going to go back and forth. That is, come on. Tell me that's not a rabbit in a hat with a bat. Anyway, it's missing the 6'4" Impala. Anyway, so welcome to the show.
They have faster cars than the Impala.
Yeah.
They don't need it. They
much improved.
Yes,
much improved. Sure. Yeah. Yep. So China was great. We got a couple races out of the deal. Every once in a while, 6 races throughout the season, they have sprint races, which are shorter versions. And us as fans, it's like, sweet, we get 2 races one weekend. It's amazing. And man, oh man, what did you think about that sprint? Especially the results.
I felt great about the sprint. Now, I think probably at the top of the show, it probably should be stated that, like, I am Ferrari through and through. So the beginning of the weekend was just spectacular.
Yeah.
Like, it was awesome.
So, because Lewis himself comes across.
Which I was going to say, my favorite drive, and like before we even get into it, like my favorite drivers were Charles and Lewis. Like, they always were my favorite drivers. So I was a little split between I wanted Ferrari to win, but I always wanted Lewis there. And so for him to make that jump, I was thrilled that, like, I am all in on Ferrari even more so this year. It's not that I didn't like Carlos. Yeah. Like, it's not that I didn't like Carlos. I like Carlos just fine, and I wish him well, obviously. But, like, Lewis, I just love what he's done for the sport. He transcended the sport.
Yeah.
And, like, I always want what's best for him, because I just think he's such a humble dude for how great he is. Yeah. And
for those who don't know, he's a 7-time world champion, meaning he won it all 7 different times. Yeah, incredible driver. There's only one other person that's done that. I think that was Schumacher, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think anyway, whoever it was, I think there's only one other that's done 7. And that is an incredible feat. So, and then now he makes the transition to Ferrari. Everybody wants to be in the Ferrari red. There was questions about what's going to happen. Will it work? And boy, we got an answer right off the bat, because F1 Sprint, second race of the season, Lewis comes across the line first, and that was well received by all.
Yeah, I think generally just F1 Reddit, all that, like, they're just happy to see it. And I loved it. Like, he really did put the pedal before. It was interesting to me. I wondered how it was going to be. Was Lewis going to be the 2 car? Was he going to be the 1 car? And it's really, I mean, they both have great cars right now.
Yeah.
Running Ferrari, except we might have cheated.
Unfortunately, Ferrari will be Ferrari, right? So
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, the actual race happened, and here's what Ferrari did in that race. They got both cars disqualified. Do you remember what places they came across the finish line before the disqualification?
Yeah, I believe they ran 6th and 7th, or 7th and 8th.
So, I mean, they were in the points, not big points, but they were in the points nonetheless. And now, as a result of this, Lance Stroll has more points than the entire Ferrari team, which is an absolute disgrace to the sport. This has to be fixed. Ferrari has to do something this weekend. And no doubt, Lance Stroll will probably put it in the wall on the formation lap. He's he is the Latifi now, Is he not? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, Like, I don't even know what to say because you're right, that stat right there just put me into
Yeah,
like tailspin.
I hurt you a
Like,
little bit, huh?
we're losing a daddy's boy alone
Yeah,
right now, which is a problem.
yeah. You guys got
Uh,
to fix this.
Jeez, yeah,
But
that's a real big issue.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, Ferrari got disqualified nonetheless, and so they didn't get any points. But here's the way the points came out in that race. Oscar Piastri, a dude that I absolutely love. I think he's a world champion in the making.
Yeah.
Takes 25 points for coming across the line first. His co-driver Lando Norris, who honestly is probably the number one driver for that team, although no, they say nobody's the number one driver. Lando's been there longer. He's more established. He had last year, which was amazing. Anyway, he comes in second. George Russell third. You see the results there, and that's the point spread on the right of what they did. And later on, we will get into how our fantasy works, our F1 fantasy. It's different than the standard fantasy where you pick a driver and a constructor and you have so many dollars that you could spend and you got to be creative and all this stuff. Well, we said, you know what, that's all right, but you can if you get the wrong driver, the wrong constructors by 3 races into the season, you're done and you lose interest. Well, what we did is instead of drafting, drivers and constructors, we drafted grid slots. And then basically wherever anybody qualifies in those grid slots, those are our drivers for that race. And
Yep.
whatever points they score is what we scored. So a little bit later, we're going to get into the points and how it worked out for us. But let's get into, or actually, let's just go ahead and show the update of the standings overall. Like I said, we've had 2 races. Lando came in first on the first race. Oscar would have come in second on the first race,
Yeah.
but had a little spin there at the end, and it was wet conditions. It was wet and wild out there.
Yeah, this and that before we go into that, like going back to the Ferrari thing and bringing up that race, like Ferrari was in perfect condition at one point to go with a double podium, but they didn't pit when they were supposed to. So we want to talk about Ferrari being Ferrari 2 races in already, and it's just like it's frustrating right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
100%.
If you don't know what we're talking about, just go watch Drive to Survive. It's entertaining nonetheless, but Ferrari for many years, and it's dumbfounding, honestly, because Ferrari is like the biggest brand for F1. They just, it's a dog and pony. No, it's not a dog and pony show. It's a circus. During the races, they make decisions that are just ridiculous, and it usually costs them, well, a whole bunch of points. And we saw it with the disqualification in the last race by both of them. Anyway,
there's a reason why the most common meme in F1 is like the Ferrari pit wall with Photoshop faces of clowns.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
every like, and I have a good buddy that's also a Ferrari fan. We send that one all the time because it's like, what are we? I just don't understand the process of like they have all these plans. You hear Charles say, "Let's go with Plan A," or Plan D, and it's just like you spend all this time and money and you can't seem to. They are like they're probably like if you had to compare them to an NFL team, which team are they?
Oh boy, that's a great question. What is just an absolute clown show right now in the NFL? It used to be the Lions, not anymore.
No.
Geez,
Is it the
Browns? Oh, it might be the Cowboys.
It's the Cowboys.
It is. It is. It's Dak Prescott running down the middle of the field with a couple seconds left in the season, and they run out the clock because they blew it. Yes, it is. I'm sorry, Dan Faithletic. It is absolutely the Cowboys. And sorry for you because Ferrari's your team, as you said earlier.
That's right. Yeah.
Another circus, I guess you could say, that's going on is Red Bull. They've got the world champion 4 times over now, 4 times in a row. Max Verstappen, he is unbelievable. He's unstoppable. In 2023, he won so many races. You actually stopped watching F1. True story, right?
Yeah, I mean, for about a year, or not a year, but probably halfway through the year, I'm like, it's Max is a lap ahead of everybody. It's
Yeah.
not even fun. It's not even fun to watch when I mean, it's
Basically,
okay.
it's the way I play the video game.
Yeah,
Like I
sure,
have it set on
sure.
such a low standard that I'm lapping people by the end of the race.
Which
Uh,
is great when you're playing
oh,
the
it's so
game,
fun.
for
It's
sure.
so fun.
Like, yes.
It's awesome. But anyway, yeah, Max is this unbelievable driver. You've got to admit he is because nobody else can drive that car. The car is. We could get into the nuts and bolts of it, but it's a very difficult car to drive. It's just the way it's set up. And so they go through drivers left and right trying to find a
Hmm.
driver that can, get any points for them so that can stand alongside Max. And the latest victim was Liam Lawson, who got
Yep.
pulled in. Essentially, I mean,
Two races.
yeah, kind of a rookie, but kind of not. He got put in for Daniel Ricciardo last year into the
Hmm.
Visa Cash App RB, whatever it was last year, Racing Bulls this year. He comes in,
Yep.
he's the Red Bull driver number 2, and boy, oh boy, has he performed. So anyway, the the better driver, if you will, of the lower team. So Racing Bulls is basically Red Bull Light, Red Bull
Yeah.
sugar free. It's
It's the it's the farm system.
yeah,
It's like it's AAA Oklahoma City.
yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
where we're at for the Dodgers.
yeah.
So
And anyway, they've got a driver over there, Japanese driver Yuki Tsunoda, who is, I mean, he just drives the heck out of that car, and he has been consistent year after year after year. And the question has been, when is he going to get in that Red Bull? Well, let's look at how this season's gone so far with 2 races alone for Liam Lawson and do a comparison with old Yuki Tsunoda. I call this the Ukes and Lily show here. So here you go. I actually went back to the 2024, the races that they were both in together.
hmm
And the average finishing position for Liam was 14. Now it does have a Red Bull car on there, but he was driving the other sister team, junior
yes, right.
team,
Yep.
the same car as Yuki. And anyway, Yuki came in an average of 12 and a half ish. So, I mean, fairly close, but Yuki beat him. Then you get to the Australian Grand Prix where Liam is, here he is. He's the new Red Bull driver. He's the new face with Max. And quali alone, quali alone, Yuki in a car that is arguably not as good as the Red Bull car qualifies 5th, and Liam Lawson with the Red Bull car qualifies 17th. Then you get into the Grand Prix itself. Yuki finishes 12th, and Liam does not finish. So, I mean, not a great start to the 2025 season, right?
Like just the worst how it could have gone probably for him.
Yeah.
Hey, you kind of and kind of the way that Red Bull goes anyway. That seat is such a hot seat anyway. Like you have to perform at just a little bit, and
Yeah.
he did not at
He
all.
he did not perform at all. So yeah, like uh so China this last race had a sprint in it as well. So we got 2 qualifying sessions, we got 2 races. Here's how that one worked out. So in the China sprint quali, Yuki in the junior car finished 8th, or qualified 8th, and Liam back of the grid. There's only 20 cars in F1, so he finished last in arguably one of the best cars, the fastest cars. So not a good look on the quali. Then we get to the race. Yuki finishes 6th, Liam 14th.
Yep.
Okay. Then we get to the actual quali for the Grand Prix, the full race. Yuki 9th, Liam 20th again, last. So it wasn't just a fluke on the sprint quali. The boy can't qualify in that car.
No, and I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. I think I know the reason why they didn't go with Yuki before is I don't know if Helmut Marko there, who has an opinion about everything, likes
Yeah.
Yuki that much,
It,
which is unfortunate. Like Yuki, I mean, he's the one that's swearing and cussing on the
yeah.
mic probably the most, and he does have a little bit of a hot streak, especially if you go back and watch the Drive to Survive. And so but he drives the heck out of the car no matter what car he's
Yep.
in. So I don't understand unless it's the personality.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know either.
he does not, and he's short, like he's super short.
Yeah.
Like it's like
He's
it's
aerodynamic.
almost, right? But to me, it's like, oh, this guy, to them as Red Bull, is like he's great. We like what he does, but he doesn't really fit our high chair, like our elite
Yeah.
spot. Like that's the only thing that I could possibly
Yeah. I
think
don't.
of
Yeah.
as
I
to
mean,
why they would put him there.
yeah. Or yeah, why not? Yeah. So Wally, by the way, asked a great question. Will we ever see more
Yes.
teams down the road with USA
year.
companies? Yeah.
Yep.
How about
Next year.
Cadillac coming in next
Cadillac.
year? Yeah. And one of the teams will switch from a multi-name team to Audi as well. So now that's
Yes.
not an American one, but yeah, Cadillac coming in. We will have 2 more drivers. So there will be 22 drivers next year.
And I believe Ford is coming down the road too, but I can't remember.
Well, they're going to be
there
the
was
the
talk of
engine
it.
for Red Bull starting in
Yes,
2026. So
Mhm.
anyway, back to it. Okay, so in the Grand Prix though, you see Liam actually finished in front of Yuki. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a reason for that. And that is because Yuki's car literally failed on him. He didn't
Yes.
hit anybody. He didn't do anything wrong. And his front wing just broke, just going down a straightaway. So there you see it. And at that point, these cars are so aerodynamically dependent, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
You know, they're designed down to the littlest detail. And so when a big thing like that happens where you lose the front wing, I mean, they can't corner, they can't stop right, they can't. And so at that point, Liam passed him. So there's why he actually beat him in that one. Yeah, anyway, yeah, that was too bad. It would have been, you know, Yuki was doing good, and yeah, so be it. So here's the little video or whatever graphic video of the drivers that have been Max's teammates throughout the years, and you see they all get X'd out because none of them can drive the car. Question mark on Liam. That has been answered though. That has been
Yep.
answered. It will be the Yuki show in Japan nonetheless. So we're
Yes.
Japan Grand Prix, Japanese driver making the switch to Red Bull. Dude, I am pulling for him 100%.
I would love to see him win.
Oh my gosh.
Like-
Would that be incredible?
I would love to see him, at least podium. Like get him on the podium
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
For sure.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I
That would
want
be
to see
awesome.
him be able to drive that car. Now it is a tricky car to drive, so the question becomes if he can't drive it, what happens? They're not going to just can him. He's a good driver. They're going to put him back with Visa Cash App, RB, Racing Bulls, whatever they are, the junior team. Who goes away?
Bring back Pure Gasly. Just bring him back.
Yeah.
Bring him back to the fold. Come on.
Yeah. So does
I don't
Isaac
know. I
Hadjar
don't know
then
what
come
you
in
do.
there? I don't know. Yeah. Does Checo come
Yeah.
back? I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about, we say we're a fantasy podcast. Let's talk about the fantasy thing that we described earlier on, right? And sorry, I am kind of going fast here, Kyle. I wasn't paying great attention to the time, and we're moving, man. We finally got
Yeah,
this thing
we're getting right
online.
through
It's
this.
like go before it shuts down on us. Anyway, so
Great.
yes, we drafted grid slots, and if you see our pictures there on the left, we all have a certain color around us. And by golly, if you look to the right there, there's checkered flags that are all certain colors. They correspond with the colors around the person. Like I said,
That's right.
we drafted tracks. We drafted track positions. So we got to draft pole positions and all this, and it works out. So for this last race, Robbie actually had pole position. He got Oscar Piastri, and boy, did that pay off. You know?
Absolutely. it
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. And then
Yes.
you got old Dave there, George Russell, and he also had Ocon, whatever, however you say it. Lando Norris was with you, and that worked out. Second place,
Yep.
not too bad.
Yep.
You also had Albon, that didn't work out too good.
Two. No, he
He did he score?
did he? I think he scored. No, I don't know. Maybe it was the week before he drove
Yeah.
his butt off.
Yeah.
And scored me some points when nobody finished that race in
Yeah,
Australia.
that was
so.
that was a bloodbath, man. Anyway,
Yes,
there you
it
go.
was.
There you see it. So for the next race, we already have the grid slots picked and drafted and assigned, and we'll show you that in just a minute. But it won't have driver names in it because qualifying hasn't happened. We don't know the drivers that we have for that race until qualifying. And by God, if somehow Lance Stroll qualifies in pole position, sorry for the person who has pole that week because
That's fine. Bring him to me. That's fine.
Okay, you take him. You take him. Anyway, so like I said, the drivers that we get here, whatever points they score is what we score. Here's how it broke down last week. Dave had a darn good week, scoring 25 points with both his guys scoring in double digits. You were right there. Albon did get you 6. Yes, he got you 6 points. You got 18 with Norris for the second place. Yeah, not a bad week. Then you see I had 12 and nothing with Yuki because his wing broke. Hamilton disqualified for Landon. He would have had points there. Kimi Antonelli, who has been a pleasant surprise. I mean, I don't know if it's a surprise, but it's been awesome to see him drive so far, right? I mean,
Yeah, it was really interesting to me that Mercedes, who usually goes like proven drivers,
yep.
that they went with him, and he has driven that car really well.
Yeah, he has performed.
sure.
Absolutely. Now, George, both races has ended up on the podium, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, but it's under the radar almost because of the fact that this rookie is coming in and driving the heck out of the car and scoring points himself. Anyway, moving on. Davis
no,
did. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't you think George has been probably the most consistent
Yeah.
driver in the past 3 years?
When he doesn't put himself in the wall, yeah.
Right, but I mean that happens to everybody, but it feels like he's close to that top 5.
Yeah.
Almost every week.
Well, I mean, we've seen it both races. He was on the podium, which is there's only 3 people on the podium. So, granted, it's third place both times, but that ain't bad. That ain't bad.
Where you want to be.
Yeah. So he's doing well, and it's almost quietly because of the fact that this rookie Kimi Antonelli driving a major car, major contender car, is actually performing as well, which is great to see. I wish them both well. I like them both. Davis, though, did not have a good week. He had Isaac Hadjar and then Charles Leclerc. He scored 0 with both of them. And then, like we said, Robbie there had the winner, Oscar Piastri. He also had Hulkenberg in the Haas, and that didn't work out for him. But there you go. There's the point spread for the week. Dave and Robbie coming in strong, 25 points apiece. You're only a point behind them with both your guys scoring. So,
right there.
Yeah, 24. I'm, just kind of middle of the road, 12 points. Landon scored more than before. I think he got 1 point last race, so now he got 8. Davis coming in with a big 0. Not so good. Not so good.
Nope.
But it's a long season, 24 races. So let's look at the standings and how they are for the year. And look at that. Mr. Kyle Cook on top.
Come on.
40 points, baby. You are tied with Robbie.
Yep, I'll give him his due.
But yeah, there you are, brother. You are on top of the podium right now. How's it feel, man?
It feels,
so good.
It feels good. But I will say this has been a really fun setup. I've done fantasy leagues before, and I think somebody needs to put this into the engine or something like that, because you basically the way that usual fantasy is set up is you have a salary cap, and then you're trying to pick about 6 drivers plus a team, and so your team can change every week based on how you feel, There's a couple that like you sign contracts for 3 races, like that kind of thing. But everything revolves around the salary cap. This is really fun because it's just like we don't know who we're gonna get every week. I'm rooting for Ferrari and I'm rooting for my two guys that are on the track.
Yeah.
Like
It's like you get
and
two extra drivers, and then
yeah,
sometimes your driver is in your slot there, and that's a
yeah,
double cool. But yeah, it makes it fun. It's like we get 3 drivers per race because everybody has their driver. Like
yeah, yep,
Carlos is my guy. Oscar Piastri might be my guy now.
yep.
He was right there with Carlos to begin with. Carlos kind of fading out of the picture so far with Williams. That's tough. So I have bad blood towards Lewis now. So sorry to say it because he kicked my Carlos out of Ferrari. And
But he's ran that. Williams has had a good car this year, or at least a better car
yeah,
than they have in the past.
yeah,
So, but yeah, I get it. But yeah, all that to say, it's fun to have a couple. Like my first week, I did have Charles.
yep,
He was one of my two, so I had him and Albon. I was like, yeah, that's
yep.
good start for me with him. So, but yeah, it's really quite fun. We drafted. I don't know if you went on the first one, but yeah, we drafted kind of tracks where we would get the pole. So everybody wanted Monaco that first one. Like that's the first pick of the draft because nothing ever changes
Yeah.
in
Although
Monaco.
Monaco this year, I heard is a 2-stopper now, mandated 2-stopper.
I did see that.
Yeah, so
I
that
did see that.
that changes things maybe, because
Maybe
typically
right.
Monaco, although it's a crown jewel, if you will, for F1, it's basically a parade. Wherever you qualify
Yes.
is pretty
Yes.
much where you're going to finish. And anyway, so yeah, Monaco was the one that went first off the board. I think Dave got it. Anyway, so let's see where we are for next week, though, as we talk about how we drafted the grid slots. Here you go. Here it is. So this is for the Japan race. These are the slots that we have. And like we said all along, we don't know who our drivers are going to be until qualifying. Robbie is on pole this week. Dave right there in second. We've got yourself in third. I'm in fourth. Okay. And then who is that? Landon fifth and Davis sixth. And then we kind of mirror that on the other side. So we get 2 drivers a week in the fantasy. And then, like we've said before, we all have our drivers that we follow. And so, yeah, this is the way it works out. We will see where everybody qualifies. We will see how it ends up working out. And we'll have another show and show where the points work out to. But I think this is the way to do fantasy for F1. I mean,
Yeah. I agree.
it's and like you were saying, this needs to not. I'm not saying, oh wow, I found something and created something great and look at me. No. I'm just saying they need to. This needs to be a formula within the fantasy app, for F1. Because this,
Absolutely.
yeah, I like this way because regardless, I mean, throughout the season, you don't know which drivers you're going to get, and it's just every race is exciting at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
And you're going with traditional points, like all of that. Like it's easy to understand. The F1, like the standard F1 fantasy app is like, it's almost like they're making up stuff. Like
yeah,
yeah, like they got the fastest lap, so you get 100 points.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just weird. So that being said, like this is perfect. And then basically, I mean, you have good bones right here, and then I mean, it's easy stuff to add later if we're like, hey, we want this to be a rule
yeah,
next year.
yeah,
Like maybe you get your guy or whatever, and you feel like strongly about a guy that week. I was like, you could do a wild card and double your
yeah,
points or something like that. Like
yeah. This
first,
is
like, but we have good bones, and I don't know. I don't know anybody else. I have a lot of friends that are F1 fans, and the F1 Reddit that I'm on, and it's kind of really cool how this came together. So you
uh,
did create something neat.
I dig it. It's working out, and this is the first season. So yeah, like you said, it's we can only go up from here. You know,
That's right.
We'll expand it and see what we can do. Like you said, I mean, who knows? Fastest lap, all this kind of stuff. Although they don't do
Right.
fastest lap anymore, but at least a point for it.
Which they keep track of it, and they're like, I don't understand why that was always kind of interesting to me. I don't know why they didn't keep that around.
Yeah,
but-
I like the fastest lap 1 point as long as
Yeah.
you were in the points. I mean, it made sense. So
Yeah.
it's not like, you know, the last place guy could pit and get the
Right.
fastest
Mhm.
lap. It wouldn't count for any points because there's only points through 10th place in F1. So yeah, anyway, who knows? That might come back. We'll see. It's ever changing. You know, Formula One is an ever evolving thing. Like we answered Wally's question. It's been forever only 20 drivers in the world, and next year it's going to 22. So I mean,
Yep.
things are evolving. F1 is becoming bigger and bigger, largely because, as we started the show talking about, Drive to Survive. I mean,
Yep.
it has brought so many people into F1. I am one of them. I think you're pretty much a product of Drive to Survive. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. And it's hard not to be an F1 fan after seeing that. Sorry, if you've heard all this noise in the background, it's because I have Mosey in here, and she's been chewing on a what do you call that? An antler. So let's
No,
have Mosey.
awesome.
Let's have Mosey say hi. Come here.
Mosey.
No, never mind. She's
Nah.
just like, I'm gonna lay down. No, she doesn't want to say hi. So anyway, she's
I'm
back there
surprised-
somewhere.
I'm
She's in
surprised
one
my
of the
dogs
chairs.
haven't been barking.
Let's
but-
see if I can get her on camera. There she is. There she is in the chair. Hi, Mosenator. My sweet girl. Anyway, I know you can't see her, but if you're watching the YouTube feed, you'll see her in a few minutes. So,
Sure.
so that's it. I mean, that's our show. Typically, we have an update from Coffee Corner Terry, who is our guru. I mean, he's a fantasy guru. Fantasy F1 guru. If you want to know anything about F1 and the happenings in it, just take a snapshot of this screen here, and later on go back to it in your photo album and hold your thumb on that bottom QR code. That is Coffee Corner Motorsports, run by Terry. Great guy over in England. Very smart. Very hard to understand if you're an American.
Sure.
But he provides captions. So, but great guy. I mean, our first F1 show we ever did he was on it. And he, every week on Thursday, typically Thursday, he gives the preview for the race. Well, it's obviously only Wednesday right now because of shift work and other things. This is when we could have the show. So we don't have the Coffee Corner Motorsport, Coffee Corner Terry update. But typically we will have it because usually the show is going to be a Thursday, Friday kind of thing. And that will return next week. I think we'll be back to a Thursday or Friday. Not sure which day it will be. But yeah, so that's it. Oh, and the other QR codes there are obviously the Duct Tape Dynasty QR codes, and they're self-explanatory. The one with the YouTube logo goes to where you're at now. You've already found that. You've got TikTok and Instagram there as well. So please go check those out. Give us a follow. Like I said at the beginning, give us a like, if nothing else. And you know, I hope that we have something that's semi-entertaining. If not, well, it's fun for us. And I like doing this kind of thing.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. And thanks to Dan, Faithletic, the podcast, if he's still out there, because he is where we got our start. And yeah, the rest is history, right? So what do you say we wrap this baby up and get the heck out of here?
Sounds good to me.
You're good with it?
Check us out on Faithletic too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hop on over there.
I don't have the QR code for that one, but if you just look up Faithletic, the podcast on any of the social medias, well, except
We're
TikTok, I think, you'll find it. You'll find
Yep.
it. So great guys. He's one of them. So check that out. Hey, we love y'all. Y'all are the absolute best. We thank you for being here with us and sticking around, the four of you that are still here. And, well, shoot, I guess oh, shoot, look at this. I don't have the credits ready. There we go. Let's get the heck out of here, brother.
Peace.